Welcome back. We are here for the Between Dancing on Strings, episode 9. Last we left off, we finished off night phase, entered into dawn, and we are owed two masks. Unfortunately, Kemuel's player is unable to join us for this evening, and we will hopefully see him uh, next time. But I believe Daymond has a mask of the past that he wants to narrate.
This one is narrate a flashback to your young adulthood that shows your first sexual encounter with a dark entity. The night of his 18th birthday was not one that Daymond would forget. The ritual that would taint him, mark him in his own eyes as different, would be held this night. The silver threads that bind him would appear to him for the first time. In his adopted family's home, outside of London, the boy Daymond knew would become a man by his God's blessed hand. Mother and father awoke at night to a sound. It was not a sound they expected to hear that night, or any night. Father, as he often did, said he'd deal with it. Mother stayed in bed. It was cold in the hallway as father, wrapped in his robe, made his way to the bedroom. Holding his usual tools, a candlestick and belt, he marched over rug-laden floors. The imported rugs highlighted the statue of the man walking on them, while masking the sound of that same man's footsteps. The intruder would not hear him coming. Daymond certainly wouldn't. Standing outside the bedroom of his only child, what father heard enraged him. The squeak of bed springs behind closed doors was unmistakable. The labored breathing, the whispers, undeniable. A beautiful, dark, unholy ritual was in progress, and then it ended, abruptly. When Samuel, who really preferred it when Daymond called him father, broke open the bedroom door, he expected to see anything but what he saw. His son with a girl, his son with a boy, his son with his own hand. All possibilities, none reality. As the candle's sunbeam illuminates Daymond's bedroom, the ritual breaks, unfinished. His formless lover retreats back out through an open window and into the darkness from whence it came. The curtains flapping in the nighttime rush of air, Samuel stood, not knowing what, if anything, he was looking at. His son sank back onto his mattress, a look of longing and yearning still stuck on Daymond's face. Not knowing what else to do with the boy, Samuel looked to the second of the two tools he'd brought with him. Daymond had expected this encounter to end with blissful release, a tender moment, a caring embrace. It still might, as the hard rhapsody of a belt against his backside was only the intermission. After father had dealt with the boy, it was his nurse's turn. Though Daymond was far too old to need a nurse, she had insisted on following him from the orphanage to see the man that Daymond would become. Sister Tabitha, draped in nun's habit, collected a healing salve as she makes her way to Daymond's room, walking gracefully, gliding without a sound. The boy lays face down, his rear end still stinging, as Sister Tabitha lightly starts to work the cream along his backside. As Daymond whimpers at the cold cream, Sister Tabitha shushes him. "Hush now, my dear boy, everything will be all right." At her reassurances, Daymond looks at his nurse, his protector, and in her eyes, and he meekly asks her how she knows. Sister Tabitha's eyes gleam, and a smile crosses her face as her hand glides from Daymond's backside to his front and begins applying the cream in earnest. Longingly, she confesses, "Because I love you," only interrupting her statement to plant a lover's kiss on her young charge's lips. And he loves you more. As the ritual resumes with human hands, Daymond lies back and promises to meet the man who truly loves him.
My God. Or no God. All right. So we enter into day phase. Vulnerable moves, any scenes together, you know me. Called for or not, before I introduce yet another threat. So just have to have a vice in play. And whomever's vice it is, go ahead and set up the scene. Anybody have any ideas?
I do have 3 conditions,
One of which you can't clear.
Right.
one of which I cannot clear.
I would be perfectly happy to join you in a vulnerable scene unless
Yeah, let's do
Rob
that.
wants to.
Your vice or mine?
I leave that up to you.
I'd like to see how Marybelle reacts to Sunday morning mass,
Absolutely.
because I don't know how they will.
Shall we have the scene then on the walk back from Mass or the walk to Mass?
Let's say the walk back.
Excellent.
Mr. Gray, I do not understand. The people, they were drinking blood? Why?
They were not drinking actual blood.
Ah, a metaphor.
Yes, they were drinking wine that had been blessed by the priest, the man at the front, to consecrate it as the blood.
Why blood?
There are many interpretations as to why it would be blood. I personally ascribe to the fact that people like a little bit of taboo in their morning rituals.
But isn't taboo looked down upon by the same people?
It is. And now you've hit the crux of why Sunday morning Mass is so delightful. It is people espousing to a higher good while themselves not reaching the same measure. It is them mimicking kindness to others with the collection plate while not handing that same coin to the beggar that we passed out front.
Yes, I did notice that.
People are a paradox, a set of, oh, what's the word? People are like two sides of the same coin. And as it flies through the air, they could land on either, good or bad, kind or cruel. And it is only while that coin flips that we are allowed to be truly human.
If being truly human is to walk by people in need and then give your coin to those who don't need it in order to gain favor from a god that should be rewarding you for good deeds rather than payment, then perhaps being human is not, well,
You can say it.
Perhaps it is not something that I want.
It is not something that anyone wants. To be human is a curse that we all get to live with. Well, almost all of us. And it is what you do with your curse that describes who you are. Some of us wear our curses more literally. Myself and Val, or you. Others are able to hide it behind a facade. Kemuel, for example.
Your curse, the one that you made the deal for,
Yes.
that also makes you less human?
It makes the physical body that you see before you less human. It makes me the plaything of others.
And yet, you make your own decisions, do you not?
I think I do. Do you make your own decisions?
Yes. But sometimes I do not understand everything there is to understand about the decision I am making.
And that is another part of being human. We do not know concretely how we are able to do the things that we do, to walk. We just do it. And something in the back of our minds allows us to put one foot in front of the other. Do you consciously think about each step that you take, commanding each muscle or mechanical machination to move?
At first, yes. But no longer.
It is the same with people. And so you learn and you have to think about each of your actions, and then they become second nature. And it is in those second nature thoughts and those second nature reactions that we see the cruelty of men, that we see the kindness of their actions or the lack thereof.
I suppose one price that we pay in being less than human is recognizing the problems that humans have and not being able to fix them.
Exactly.
You hear a burst of laughter and applause coming from somewhere, everywhere, as you walk towards Hargrave House. Conditions.
Woohoo! I believe I have cleared what is customary about coin, and the answer is humans are weird.
Yes.
That's why.
Sure.
And I believe I've cleared. Is it a kindness?
Okay.
Since this was Mr. Gray's vice, I suppose you're welcome to choose if you would like a clue or if you would like to invite me to ask you a question.
Given that we've only got one active threat at the moment, a clue seems a bit much. I'll take the question.
Mr. Gray, before we return to the house, I do have a question that I would like to ask you in private.
Of course.
Your curse, your deal that you
Mhm.
made, what was the price you paid to make it?
I didn't pay a price. I did not make the deal. I claim to because it's just easier. My mother did. She sold her firstborn child, and that happened to be me. I say that I've made this deal because it's just easier. People understand that everyone wants something. I am, in fact, the price, not the reward.
Does that make you resentful?
Of a woman I've never met. No. It makes me curious about her. Who was she that she needed to make this deal? I do not resent her for giving me life. I regret that it was under these circumstances, but that is in the past, and we look forwards.
I believe I understand. Thank you for answering me honestly.
Anytime, Marybelle, anytime.
Any other scenes? Any other vulnerable moves? Val, you have 2 conditions.
I do. If anyone wants to do a scene with me, I'm game.
Unless Amanda really wants to, I'm also available.
I think we both have a condition still.
So really, whomever's vice would like to be in play.
You know what? I think I'll do it because the condition I have for the smoky puppet strings, all I wrote was condition from the smoky puppet strings. So I'm gonna try and clear that so I don't have to work out what it is. If that is okay.
Fine by me. You want to find. Do you want to do your vice or mine?
Let's do yours.
Okay. Perhaps it can be as straightforward as Marybelle and Daymond returning after their church service and finding Val and Prince Rupert in the drawing room. And Val is sitting in a big, luxurious armchair with a book open on their lap and a silver tray with the coffee service on the side table next to them.
Good morning, Val. Good morning, Prince Rupert.
Val looks up from their book and Marybelle, has Daymond been enlightening you as to the goings on of London this morning?
Yes, we attended Sunday morning mass. It was an interesting ritual, perhaps even more a set of rituals. Everything I learn about humans makes me more uncomfortable with how they say one thing but mean another. Do you find that true as well?
Often, although I confess I would be disturbed to find that if I were to attend morning mass.
They spoke of forgiveness and love and caring, and yet ignore the struggles of people around them. They spoke of doing good works, and yet none in that entire congregation step up to assist us in the job that we do.
Well, the job that we do does call for a rather special set of skills, I suppose. Not everyone very few would be able to face the things that we face.
I suppose they also must listen to the instructions of their priest. Perhaps it's the priest that needs to be more open to helping outsiders and encouraging his congregation to do so.
That could very well be the case. Priests are, after all, just people like any other. Imperfect. And, well, some of them trying harder than others to perfect themselves.
Well, I do not understand. When humans choose a leader, why do they choose such fallible leaders?
I fear you have asked the wrong person that question, Marybelle. I have never been one to feel that I have much of a choice in the leaders that I followed, or indeed been satisfied with.
But surely, if you were given an order that you disagreed with, you would not follow it.
I don't think Val kind of looks away at that time, at that moment. Not we walk a fine line between our duty and our conscience sometimes, Marybelle. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who has felt that when those two things are in conflict with one another, they may have made the wrong decision.
Mr. Gray says that we must look to the future and not reflect too much on the past and past mistakes. It seems like you are saying something dissimilar in that you should reflect on past mistakes in order to make better choices.
I think that's an astute way of putting it, Marybelle. Our past is not something we can escape, even if we hide it from others. It is always with us. We cannot hide it from ourselves. And we must strive to learn from the mistakes we have made.
I believe I should like to learn more about understanding the world and making better decisions. I would like to learn more about being a leader. I would like to know more about not being one of the led. I do not wish to be one of the led.
Does that not depend on who you choose to be led by?
And if I choose to be led by no one, is that not an option?
Certainly, but then you must be even more certain of the rightness of your actions.
But if there is no one to judge my actions except for myself, then wouldn't I always be correct in my actions?
You land upon a field of philosophy, I fear, Marybelle. There are some who might say that a God judges your actions. Mr. Gray attends church and wears a cross upon his neck. I have attended church many times in my life. And yet, yeah, in the end, it does come down to your own judgment as to whether your actions serve a greater good, serve others, or serve only yourself at the expense of others.
In some way, that does make it seem easier, does it not? If you only have to rely on your own judgment. Assuming you will do the best you can, of course.
But then your own judgment is something you must constantly strive to hold to the higher standards and to temper into an instrument sharp enough to cut through the quandaries and dilemmas that you may face.
Yes, I see what you mean. There needs to be vigorous study before making a decision.
To assume that any decision you make will be correct has led to many horrors.
Let's look at conditions. What do you think you can clear?
I don't have any puppet strings on me.
I feel like I think both of mine I could make a case for. I'm not sure which one is. I think Deja Vu makes sense because we also dealt with the mean times threat.
Yeah, I'd say that's correct. That's fine.
And we just had a conversation that was kind of reflecting on the past and decisions made and
Yeah,
that
I think
kind of thing, which could also apply the weight of shadows. But yeah, I think Deja Vu maybe makes sense.
Deja Vu makes more sense to me as well because I feel like Val has had this kind of conversation before with people. So they maybe they feel like they're running in circles. So
Maybe not with somebody who has such a naive perspective on the world.
it can go either way. So who knows? Alrighty. Any other doesn't have to be a vulnerable move. Any other scenes? Any other scenes you want to have?
Uh, Daymond would like to have just a brief word with Val.
Means
Bring you a well-made cup of tea, plate of sugars, and a small bit of milk.
thank you, Mr. Gray. The marvels of the modern world, they'll say, holding up the tea.
Tea has been around for a very long time, but I suspect you speak of a different type of tea.
Well,
You could
there was a time tea was not so commonly known in England as it is now. But yes, that was, I fear, a long, long time ago.
far longer than I've been here. But you could consider this cup of tea sort of a bribe, if you would, to conversation, an apology for last night. On the island, I got very close to not being able to bring us back. And for that, I am sorry.
Mr. Gray, I went into that venture with my eyes open as to the risks involved. You have no need to apologize to me.
the horse still should feel some responsibility for not being able to get its betters home safely.
I've always made a point of never blaming my horse for any untoward events that occurred while I was riding them.
It was very kind of you to say. And I will attempt to restrain myself from stepping over that ledge in future, or in your case, in past.
Val narrows their eyes at that comment, wondering what Mr. Gray knows or is alluding to. I hear you've accompanied Marybelle to church this morning.
More so, Marybelle accompanied me. I feel that she would not, or they would not go on their own.
I fear they may have misunderstood the purpose of the ceremony, but are taking the wrong lesson.
There is no wrong lesson. And I suppose if we're going with what's been posed in chat, the question then for you, if Amanda will allow or approves of, would be, when was the last time Val prayed, and what to?
Oh, Mr. Gray, I must consider the answer. There was certainly a time in my youth when I was quite fervent in my belief. And yet, as time passes in one's life, it is impossible not to notice that many people believe in different things. And after all, it occurs to me that they can't all be true. Even those who profess faith in God and his Son believe so differently. There was once a king of this country who split from the church because it suited him. And the service you attended this morning was perhaps an offshoot of that split. And what must one then make of the truth of such matters? It has been some time since I have prayed, Mr. Gray. Although I have gone through the motions.
And allow me to extend an invitation, an open invitation. I have plenty of books upstairs that don't necessarily follow the teachings of God or his Son. Any of
There
them
was a time, Mr. Gray, when it would have been unwise to confess such a thing openly.
we are not in the open. We are among friends and confidants.
Quite so. I'm not proposing I'm about to burn you at the stake, Mr. Gray. Do not worry.
I'm not sure that you could.
And I think Val gives him a long look at that comment.
Beautiful.
Daymond
Oh my gosh, amazing. Marybelle, I think as they're having this conversation, I think, maybe you're wandering around the house or getting ready to do whatever your normal daily ablutions are. And then you hear a knock at the door, or no, excuse me, maybe no, you know what? You don't hear a ring, the usual ring of the bell. You hear a knock at the door.
Yeah, I would like to open the door and say immediately to whoever is on the step, "Hello, I am Marybelle."
You recognize Marie Lytton from the Ranelagh Chapel. She seems to have something wrapped uh, in a drapey cloth. Like it's rather like not heavy looking, but I mean it's like she's holding it with both arms, and she's looking at you with these sparkling eyes, over it. Just whom I wanted to see. How wonderful. I don't know if you remember me. Uh, Marie Lytton from Ranelagh Chapel.
I've met her before, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Of course, I would not forget that.
I
Do
hadn't.
people often forget people they meet?
Some do. You only met me the once, I know, but I actually haven't stopped thinking of you since last we met. I've discovered the most.
Unfortunately, I have not thought of you since we last met.
That's quite all right. I've actually discovered the most beautiful thing in the world, and I want you to have it.
Oh, thank you.
And then she will heft it in front of her, and then she will hand this draped object over to you.
I'm gonna pull the drape off before I take it from her.
hmm It is under this elegant glass cloche. It is a potted orchid of the most exquisite jeweled green hue that anyone has ever seen. It seems to have this iridescent shine that sparkles even over itself, as if there are dusty jewels of emerald that seem to sparkle around it. This is a question for
Huh.
you, Marybelle, looking at it. How can you tell this orchid is animated by a malevolent intelligence which seeks to spread to new hosts, and that the bearer of this gift is under its control?
I think there's an aura that it's giving off that I couldn't quite place at first, because it is surrounding the flower and it is also surrounding the woman with the flower. And I think it takes me a moment to realize that I often see a similar aura surrounding Mr. Gray when he's performing his strange rituals. It looks different, though. It has a different, almost density to it. The aura around Mr. Gray is a lot more dense, a lot more weighed in on Mr. Gray versus the aura on this. It seems more gaseous and fluid, as if it's trying to escape.
And you see this fluidity, perhaps with your strange eyes, or maybe this is just something that you're able to sense, but either way, I mean, this is something that she has handed to you, and she gives you this brilliant smile and says, I hope you enjoy it. This is something that not many people get to have, and I hope you get the most pleasure out of it.
Yes, it is quite an unusual flower. I shall put it with the other flowers in the garden. And I think Marybelle thinks that's a really appropriate answer for this.
Oh, no, no. Well, I'm sure that it needs to germinate with others, but at this point, since it's fresh picked, you may want to let it sit and admire under the glass for just a little while longer. Treasure it. I know others have, the others that have such things in their possession as well. It's the talk of the town this season.
Are you sure you do not wish to keep it?
Oh no, no. This should be shared. This beauty should be appreciated by those that are unique, like yourself.
Very well, I shall take it. Where did you get it?
Oh, well, these are available in the. And then she will mention to you the different. Hold on. Yes, the greenhouse where it's being on display. Some of the people that have like kind of passed it along. Some of the seedlings that they've given as gifts. And yes, it's again, as she said, it's the talk of the town because anyone hoping to be noticed, and more importantly remembered, knows that emeralds are all the rage. Not those sparkly baubles on display at the jewelers, but living emeralds in the form of these dazzling jewel-petaled orchids. An anonymous cultivator of rare and exotic plants has obtained and reproduced a genuine emerald orchid, its unearthly coloration achieved without any artificial methods. This stunning iridescent specimen evokes the brilliant green hues of jewel beetles from the tropics. Anyone who can afford it has added an emerald orchid to their mantelpiece or sent one as a lavish gift. In one case, even offering a particularly vibrant specimen in place of an engagement ring. It seems that half the city is caught up in the craze. This does not explain some of the more bizarre behaviors on the rise, however. Sleepwalking members of the upper class, awakening from scandalous acts they wouldn't dare be caught up in, ordinarily rational members of society abandoning their work for an obsession with gardening, and avant-garde artists rambling about the esoteric nature of some new color. Even friends and acquaintances of Hargrave House, such as you've met, have been affected. All right. So there are questions and opportunities. You need to find out. Hold on, let me get into the threat tab. Give me a second. Come on. All right. So, question one: who has been reproducing the orchid and how can it be stopped from spreading? This is a complexity 4. This can be resolving the threat by seeking out and destroying the original malevolent orchid from which the others were grown. Okay. That's a complexity 4 again. There's also the choice of doing the complexity 6, which is how is the orchid controlling its hosts and how can these effects be cured? You can resolve the threat by studying the behavior of those affected by the orchid and then creating an antidote. Or the hardest, which is complexity 8. How can the secret properties of the orchid be harnessed? Resolve the threat by distilling the essence of the orchid into a useful form. Hargrave House gains access to the custom move Visions of Verdigris. Okay, so complexity 4, complexity 6, or complexity 8. I will put all of these things more in an organized form in a few minutes. But those are your questions and opportunities for this. And this does have a threat mask, the Mask of the Emerald. I'll just tell you what it is. Each hunter narrates a flashback to a time when they experienced freedom from the confines of their body and mind. All right? So, you now have 2 threats on the board. Still in the midst of King in Shadows, now with the Emerald Orchid. So, given that, what would you like to do today?
I would like to take this. I'm just going to thank, what's her name, Mary?
Marie.
Marie. I'm going to say thank you, Marie, and then I'm going to close the door on her. And then I'm going to immediately, if Jeremy's okay with this, I'm going to immediately take this flower to Mr. Gray.
Val, Daymond, what would you like to do?
I will be investigating a flower as it's being foisted upon me.
Okay.
I might. Trying to think what leads we have for the.
You can't you can't watch the King in Shadows play until you
Until we figure out where it is, yeah.
exactly answer the question
Yeah.
about where its new location is.
Yes.
And
I'm
that
just
has
wondering if we need more clues for that, but I don't think we have any more
I
leads to follow up. You spoke to Larkin Creel at the asylum, didn't you?
yes. I
Did
did
you
not.
speak to the doctor?
I spoke to the doctor, but there was a second person at the asylum.
The
So
artist,
the
Hypatia.
artist, yep, Hypatia has not been spoken to.
I might go and speak to them.
Okay. That is fine.
If you two are going to be investigating flowers, I'll go off on my own today.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm just like entering this stuff in here. I apologize.
That's all right. This does beg the question for the group of, is Kemuel just going to smash the flower for encroaching on their beauty?
Oh boy. Well, let's
I
put it
didn't
this
bring
way.
the flower to Kemuel
Oh
Well,
no.
on
well,
purpose.
well, wait. But basically it's like, my thought is this. It's like, hold on. Fictionally, I don't think Kemuel came home yet. I think Kemuel is still with their boy toy. So, yeah, Kemuel has not come home yet. So, they weren't there for this. So,
Yes.
so crisis averted. I mean,
For now.
and you don't have to show him. You don't have to show them. So, I mean, and Hattie's not going to necessarily leave her quarters. I mean, unless like Kemuel's there. I mean, unless you'd want to talk to her, So we're headed off to the Bethlem Hospital. When you approach Bethlem Royal Hospital, Val, sometimes surprisingly clean, other times not. Too many empty corridors, a heavy blanket of quiet stillness. Paint the scene for everyone. Madness walks the streets, and so the patients are quiet. What do you hear in the silence that makes you fear exploring deeper within?
It is not so much what we hear inside, but rather what we hear outside. We hear sanity outside. We hear the birds chirping, horses clip clopping down the cobblestone. And as one approaches the hospital, those trappings of reality, those reminders that we are here in London, disappear.
One of the first things you hear when you step into the hospital, aside from, various hospital noises or the door closing behind you or anything like that, is a sound coming from deep within the walls. It's a scratching sound. Rats, perhaps? Maybe something worse.
I think somewhere off in the distance there is a repetitive thumping sound, and each thump is followed by a cry of anguish, pain, something, until it isn't, and just the thumping continues with silence following it.
That's what greets you in hospital when you get there, Val. Just like Daymond before you, perhaps you see the lab-coated figure walking down the hallway, like looking through their sheaf of papers with the shock of white hair. The physician, Dr. Walters, will see you approach. Oh, hello. Are you here to see one of our patients?
I am indeed, yes. Enough. I'm sorry, out of character, I've forgotten the name. It's not written down in the flat sheet.
Sorry, that is Hypatia Quint. I will write this down.
I have no idea how to spell it, so I'll leave that to you.
And so, yes, she's a strange one. She was brought in by her wife, following a nervous breakdown at a dinner party. Strangely enough, she knows nothing of the play. She had not seen it, and yet she has been brought in with the tinge of madness.
The play, Dr. Walters?
It is what's been bringing most of my patients in. Seeing the play once, twice, the Lock and Creel 5 times, and just becoming strange and maddened and changed. Especially in Mr. Creel's case, disfigured, deformed. But
I had heard something of this, yes. Unfortunate.
Exactly. But Miss Quint, no, she is again strange because she rambles. She seems to be relatively safe so far. She has not had any tendencies to violence towards herself or others. But she just says some odd things.
I wonder, might it be possible for me to speak with her?
Certainly, certainly. You will probably find her down in the restorative gardens. And I can show you. And then he will lead you to, like, down a different hallway. And then there's like a square, or kind of like an inner,
Courtyard?
yeah. And, there's a woman there. You just see her back. She's wearing, like, kind of like the clean uh, robes or uh, outfit, scrubs, whatever they call them for this place. Um, but you see that has wild hair, and somehow she has like these flowers woven into it, like little daisies or like little gardenia type plants, like woven into her hair. And she's picking at one plant with her calloused hands, and she seems to be murmuring to herself as you and the doctor, walk up to her. Awake, sleep, a dream, a dream. And she's just picking at the at the plant and the flower. Miss Quint, the doctor says, there is someone here to see you, to speak with you about these visions, these dreams that you're having. And she will slowly turn towards you, and she's, again, clean. She just seems to have her hair along with the flowers just kind of creates this very wild natural garland around her face, which is just notable for having an angular bird-like nose. And she just smiles at you with a wide smile, Val. And she kind of like tilts her head, almost like bird-like as well. Are you sure you're awake?
How can one be ever sure of that, Miss Quint?
I'm convinced that nothing is real. that we are asleep still.
And who do you suppose it is that dreams of us?
We're a dream within a dream. I read that once.
I rather think I may have read it too.
Reality is the illuminated set of a stage. But that is not real. It is but a dream. And then she kind of like will step out a little bit and kind of like, hold out her hands as if she's like picturing something in front of her. It is the artifice of of the shadowed wings, the backstage that erects the backdrops and lights the lights. And as she says that, like you will feel heat upon your back. And if you turn to look, it's as if a spotlight has been turned upon you from somewhere. You have no idea where. The dream is upon you.
Miss Quint, I think you may be onto something here. After all, the bard once said that all of life is a stage and we are just the players. And yet I fancy that I feel the spotlight upon me.
She will come close to you with the plants that are in her hands. And one of them looks like a little buttercup. And she will kind of like, kind of tuck the buttercup like underneath your chin and say something strange like, do you know there's some kind of tale about if I hold a buttercup underneath your chin? What does it tell me?
I have heard several versions of the tale, but the most common one is that if one can see the reflection of the flower's color, it indicates an innocence, a purity of heart. Is that the tale you speak of?
Yes, yes. I see the yellow. I see the butter in your chin. That is no dream. You are pure of heart, yes?
In my experience, it is not for any person to judge for themselves on that matter.
From behind you, you hear the doctor mutter, this is the most cogent she's been since she's been here. Keep her talking. See if you can get anything else out of her. Anything of sense.
What was it, Miss Quint, that brought this truth to you? How did you find out that we are merely strutting and fretting our time upon the stage in a dream?
And she looks upon you with her blue eyes. And she stares intently at you as she says, it's been the dreams. While everyone else has seen this play, I haven't needed to because it invades my dreams. Information move, please. With presence, sensitivity, what do you think is applicable in this case? Although, let me check your conditions.
I have one condition.
Way to the shadows. I think that would color some things a little bit. So unless you have something to offset it, I'm going to give you disadvantage on this roll. Especially if you roll with sensitivity.
There's one thing but I kind of want to save it for something else. So I'm just going to take the disadvantage.
Okay.
This will be interesting.
Okay.
That's 6 with disadvantage.
Okay. Okay. 6.
It was looking good for a moment. I saw a 6 and a 4, but then one of the other dice is a 2.
Oh, wait. So,
Disadvantage makes it a 6, a 4, and a 2.
oh, okay. Got it. Okay. I'm gonna actually go ahead before I give you something punishing. I'm going to go over to Daymond and Marybelle. Let's go and see how you want to investigate this orchid. All right. So, Marybelle, Daymond has finished talking with Val. Val has headed over to Bethlem. Exactly what do you say? What do you do bringing this flower to him?
I think I just walk into his quarters, which is not a good thing to do, but I'm going to do it and hold out this box, this flower, and say, Mr. Gray, I've received a strange gift that you need to take a look at.
Daymond will take a look at the gift. This is one of those emerald orchids, is it not? Whoever gave this to you?
I don't think it matters who it gave it to me. What matters is it has the same sort of look to it as you do.
Marybelle, I am flattered to be
I do
compared to
not
some.
mean this as flattery, Mr. Gray. It has the same look as you do when you were performing your rituals. My eyes, and
Oh.
I point to my spectrographic
Mhm.
doodads, I can see it.
Oh. And I think Daymond will actually look at the orchid, not just as a beautiful thing to be observed from a distance, but probably get his face almost a little bit too close to the orchid to look, to really look with an open mind. I don't like the face you're making, Mads. I really don't.
Day, move, please. Sensitivity.
Spectrographic optic sensors. Sorry, that's my eye thing.
Okay.
I didn't have it open.
That is a 9.
Okay. Oh, should I have given you a disadvantage because of your condition? Yes, actually, I will. Sorry. Disadvantage, please.
I hope you're happy now. 6.
Hmm. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask, like, what could go wrong if you fail or lose your nerve? As you stare intently at this orchid.
It's not a Venus flytrap, so I won't lose my nose.
It's still under the glass cloche, I will
Oh,
say.
good.
Yes.
I will be compelled to take the glass cloche off, snap a leaf off, and it might just be the fact that I've got a warm pot of water, but imbibe an emerald orchid tea with whatever that does.
Hmm. Oh, it just depends on how much body horror I want. Oh, man. It's too much fun. Yeah, I like it. Okay. So, yeah. You will, with a 6, you will take the cloche off, and you will, proceed to take a piece of the orchid, and then you will drop it into your teacup. But I think as you're touching the orchid, I think you will feel that a piece of it starts to take root into your flesh, binding into your muscle fibers, leaching into your bone marrow, sprouting pale shoots through your skin, and gaining a foothold into you. You will have a condition.
I have a literal green thumb.
Parasitic green thumb. Yeah. Tell me what it feels like, Daymond, as you feel a strange awakening of strange longing for freedom from the confines of your individuality.
I think to start with, though Daymond is not exposing the silver threads, I think the silver threads would turn green as two warring things compete for Damon's individuality. And I think, Marybelle, you'd see a genuine smile appear on Damon's face as for a brief moment in the conflict, he is not bound to either force. And then the smile fades into, if monotone was a facial expression. Excellent. Thank you for bringing this to me, Marybelle. We should find Val and offer them the same. It is a beautiful flower.
Should we destroy it?
Never. This is a gift. We cannot destroy gifts given in earnest.
Why not?
Because the fact that you were given it means that something out there cares for you. Do you not want something out there to care for you?
But why would my destruction of the gift have any bearing on whether they care for me or not?
They care for you, Marybelle. You cannot destroy what they have given you. We
Mr.
care for
Gray,
you.
you are not quite yourself. Are you unwell?
I have never been better. We have never been better.
You are speaking in the plural, similar to Camuel. That is not normally your way of speaking. May I ask as to who we refer to?
All of us. The Order of the Emerald Orchid. We bring peace. We must find this Camuel. They
Marybelle,
will join us.
they move because the cloche is still off of the orchid.
I think I'm gonna get brainwashed by either the orchid or Mr. Gray and lose control of my own willpower, similar to what's going on here.
Right.
Ah, Lord, I'm just trying to think if there's something I can use in my personal quarters.
Yep.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
And I'm definitely going to give you disadvantage because of Most Beloved, because it's your present.
I think I will use, I have my belt of bits and bobs that's full of pockets. It's like my apron with utility belt.
Yes.
I think I'm going to lean towards the flower, but
Mhm.
I'm going to pull out something, maybe thread snips or something like that, something sharp that I could use to shatter the glass. I'm hoping I can at least shatter the glass so it's hard to see the flower, or at best, shatter the glass so that the flower falls on the ground and I can stomp it.
Oh, he took the cloche off. He didn't
Oh,
replace it. Like it
oh,
basically what I'm saying is the danger is that the emissions from this plant
got it,
are
got it.
drifting towards you now.
Oh yeah, in that case, I just want to put my apron over top of it,
Ah,
similar to cover it up,
sure.
so that it doesn't get at me.
Sure. No
Yeah.
problem. Okay.
So that cuts my disadvantage back to a
Straight.
regular straight roll. I
Yes.
imagine is this with sensitivity or with composure?
Compo Mhm. I would say like either because I mean like you're trying to think of what to do like in a
Hmm.
staying steady.
Let me just double check that my stats are in fact what they're supposed to be. I have one in sensitivity, so no, they're not correct. One in sensitivity, one in presence, and one in vitality. Let me just fix those.
And
0.
to answer your question, Val, does Marybelle breathe? It's not just breathing that it affects. It's not just respiratory that it attacks.
Yeah, I have a 0 for composure and a 1 for sensitivity right now due to my doll parts.
So
Um,
I'll take sensitivity if you want.
all right, let's go sensitivity. Let's go.
It is strange.
8.
Okay.
Really glad I used a personal quarters item.
Sure. Okay. So, yeah, just tell me how this looks as you basically you can see with your eyes, your spectrographic eyes, that the unearthly hue,
Yeah,
the scent, the dust that's been been kind of like wafting around it that has affected Mr. Gray is like wafting towards you since the cloche is off now, and it's trying to get a hold of you. But also the glow of this unearthly hue is starting to intensify as well, so it's also trying to affect you.
I think because I right now I'm able to move really quite fast because
Hmm.
I have my Colossus grade actuators going. I think I'm able to just really quickly remove my apron and throw it on top of the flower. And I think I just bodily fall down on top of it, both crushing it, hopefully,
Hmm.
and making it difficult for Mr. Gray to remove the apron and let the spores or whatever out again.
Love it, love it. Um, but you need to have some sort of condition. Mm,
I am unfortunately face down on the ground.
yes, yes, you are. And I'm also going to say that, regardless of you smushing the flower, I think it's the same kind of thing that happened with the color with the Three Mills Island problem. Like, it's not going to come off very easily, if at all. Like, the orchid schmear, whatever the heck it is, it's like it's not gonna
Like
come
cat
off.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's invasive, yeah. So, I mean like
Covered in spores.
yeah, yeah.
Orchid spores, so I never know what kind.
Yeah, covered in orchid spores sounds good. Back to Val and their six. Okay. And this was you trying to just talk to Hypatia, yes? You're on mute.
Yeah, specifically, I was asking her what had led her down this path of thinking, effectively.
And she's going to smile a very shadowed smile. Like before, it was very open, like, her eyes were staring at you intently, but it was still pretty open. And then now, like, there's a shadow that, like, crosses her face. And I think what ends up happening is, imagine a dolly zoom effect where she seems to come more forward, but the rest of what's behind her goes way back. And it's like you just get this really vertigo effect with it, and you feel like the bottom has dropped out of your stomach, and you see behind her these shadows moving independently. It's as if the doctor's no longer there. She's in front of you. She's smiling at you very strangely. And these shadows have come out from the corners of the garden. And, they come into view. And they are people wearing dark clothing with theatrical masks. And they're also seem to be touting like ritual daggers in their fists. What has led me down this path has been those that have wanted to summon and bring their shadowy lord and have him claim this world as his own. Here they are, in all their glory. They are his chorus. They are his cast. They are your doom. As she says this, they all converge upon you, and
Now, do I try and fight them off, or do I turn and put on a mask?
that is up to you.
I think I'll put on a mask.
Okay. And I don't. Did we do the mask of dissociation? I can't even remember now.
We didn't, no.
Okay, so that is a choice too. You don't have to do one of your masks. If you want to do the mask of dissociation, you totally can. That just means everybody else gets to do it as well.
I need to think about that one more, so I'm going to do a mask of the future.
Okay. Okay. So with the 7 to 9, we don't see the death cult coming to you and trying to take you out. She will, however, look out distantly. And then let me give you a clue for this before I give you a condition or a complication. And may I suggest that, try to figure out something with the clues that you're gathering to try and come up with some sort of answer to the question. So this way you know where to go for the next night phase. What brings her to this, led her down to this path? She'll look distantly past you, and then she'll look back at you and tell you about the dreams that she's been having. And a very recurring image in her dream has been, I have been in these passageways, and these passageways have been made up of mirrors. And these mirrors reflect only this smoky, slithering darkness. It is like I cannot escape, no matter where I go, what I do. It is all I see. And that is why I have to consider it as just a stage, just wings and a reality that only resides in one place, because if I think about it too long, then I remember these mirrors, and they reflect something too horrible to contemplate. They reflect back only darkness. Can you imagine how horrible that is, to see that? over and over again.
I confess I cannot. When did these dreams start?
At the same time, this play began to show around London. As far as I can tell, I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. My friend, Mr. Creel, he kept on seeing it. In the end, he told me he could not help but see it. He's in here too. I can only imagine what haunts him in his own head from seeing something like that in his own mind over and over again.
My associate spoke with him, and you've been most helpful, Miss Quint. We're going to try to find out, well, if there's any way of stopping this from happening to you and to him.
Just do yourself a favor. Don't get lost in the dream, within the dream. And then she'll turn away and start to pick at the flowers again. Does that resonate with you at all, Val? With her asking you not to get lost within a dream?
I think it does. Not so much a dream, but Val is or has been adrift in and lost in a way. So I think there is something in that that speaks to them.
Your condition is lost their way with a question mark.
Mm.
Back to Daymond and Marybelle. All right, Marybelle, you're covered in orchid spores, face down onto the ground. And Daymond, you are feeling free or not, falling under the spell of the orchid. What do you think of this? Like now that Marybelle has smushed the flower, how do you react?
Marybelle, why are you lying on the ground?
I am trying to ensure that you're not able to get to this flower.
Why would I be trying to get to the flower?
You said you wanted to bring it to Val and Kemuel.
Did I? uh, did you not just bring the flower in to have me look at it?
I did, and then you were not acting like yourself. You were speaking strangely. I believed you were under some sort of control of this flower. And I took precautions. I say this with my face smushed into the floor.
Well, thank you for taking precautions. This does beg one question, though. Why can't I drop this? And Daymond will be holding a little bit of a leaf that just won't leave his hand.
I think I turned my head so that I can see this. I do not know. I told you that this flower has the same aura that you do when you perform a ritual. Perhaps there is some sort of strange curse or effect it is having on you. Do you feel cursed?
In the sense that I cannot drop this leaf? Yes.
Here, let me try. And I'm going to stick my hand up and see if I can pull the leaf off of Mr. Gray's hand. I'm strong. I might be able to do it.
And also possibly tear off his thumb in the process. Do I want to do this to you guys? I don't know.
I'll try not to. Let me check my doll parts. Let's see. What do I have?
I feel like it
I can
requires
move
like
really fast.
sense of precision.
I've got my oh no, I've got my eyes going. But that's really all I've got.
I think I potentially have something then, and would ask you to just hold on to the leaf, so that when it does come loose, you're able to pull it off. I tried this earlier when performing an exorcism and there wasn't something there. I would like to try and banish a spirit or curse from a person, object, or place that it inhabits with the rites of salt and smoke. Only this time the person it inhabits is me.
That works. Okay. You got to roll though.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, you
Oh
know,
yeah, no, it's
disadvantage, man, because you
yeah.
got the shit hit great though.
It's
Unless you got something you can do about it.
a plant. Ooh. I would like to go to my witch's cupboard
Uh-huh.
and pull out some grave dirt.
Ooh, nice.
It's a plant. Therefore, we give the plant something else to hold on to
Oh,
as part of
damn.
this ritual. The soil of the dead.
Okay.
As a reminder, I can pull things from my personal quarter, or anyone can pull things from my personal quarter or from the witch's cupboard, add it to their personal quarters when performing any kind of ritual for advantage.
All right. Well, in this case, it's going to
In
give
this
you
case, yes.
canceling out the disadvantage. Duh, yeah. Sensitivity?
Yep. 13.
Excellent. You tell me. What does this look like?
On 13, Marybelle would take hold of the little piece of leaf, and Daymond would, with his free hand, just sprinkle some grave dirt on it. And as Marybelle starts to pull, the physical pain of threads being ripped out, not the silver ones that usually accompany him, but the roots of a plant. And unlike the thin, wispy threads that normally get pulled out, these have the extra threads upon them, the roots making more roots, making more roots throughout his body. And as it gets pulled, I think we kill the small leaf as it tries unsuccessfully first to take hold in the non-flesh that is Marybelle's hand, and then in the death soil that surrounds it, as it gets pulled from quite literally the only possible host in this house.
Maribel, I think you're going to see something very interesting under your spectrographic eyes. I think as you're pulling this leaf, as tiny as it is, and then like, as infinitesimal as the little roots are, you'll see with your spectrographic eyes, it's like it's almost as like there's these emerald ethereal tentacles that are surrounding Damon's arm, and they're fighting with like these silver threads that are like practically slap fighting their way out from being untangled, with these roots. And it's an interesting sight for you, I'm sure. But you can see how much pain Daymond is in when this happens. All from one tiny little thing.
If a single leaf was able to do that to you, somebody of substantial power, I would not want any of this plant to make it into the society of London.
We must keep Kemuel away from this. It cannot be allowed near someone of their charismatic magnitude.
So do we destroy it, or do we keep it for observation? It seems wasteful if we destroy it without knowing more about it.
I think there's one place in Hargrave House that Kemuel will not go. And I think we would take and keep it in the broom closet by the front door. Kemuel's not going to go there. You thought it was going to be something dramatic. No, Kemuel's not going in the broom closet.
Secret. Oh my god.
That's amazing.
It's true.
That's so true. Okay. All right. And I think as you're bringing it into the broom closet, like still wrapped up in Marybelle's apron, you hear the slap of the paper against the door.
We should secure the plant before we acquire the paper.
Of course.
And I think we'll just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like fun to roleplay.
Yeah.
And then, then grab the paper.
The paper has reports of the Kew Gardens greenhouse having a grand exhibition of a green orchid, of an emerald orchid, for all of London to see. Isn't that wonderful?
Are we burning this orchid or are we stealing it for ourselves?
I believe we should take a look at the situation and its security to see what is surrounding it, who is bringing it to this exhibition before we make that decision.
A wise choice. Becoming quite the investigator, Marybelle.
Thank you. I've had a conversation just this morning with Val about my ability and desires regarding decision making and where I would like to go with my life, so as it is.
Those are never fun conversations, especially with oneself.
On the contrary, I feel a sense of clarity.
I'm glad that Val was able to assist and provide that for you. They have that effect on people.
Yes, they are a noble type, are they not?
Perhaps too noble. And with that, I think we head to the Kew Gardens.
Okay. Val, are you doing anything else here in Bethlem? It's as if, again, the death cult did not show up. You finished talking with Hypatia and then the doctor, Rodney. Sorry. Should write this down.
Watson, was it?
Rodney White? Hold on. Walters. Rodney Walters.
Walters.
Yes. Did she say anything of interest to give her a better handle on her condition?
It was very confusing, but perhaps my associates and I can make some sense of it, given time. I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak in riddles, Doctor, but
Well, and he just like kind of like scratches at his mop of silver hair. Riddles are all they seem to be doing these days. I mean, it's fascinating to hear them talk, especially about the play or the strangeness as an offshoot of it, but she is the outlier because she had not seen it. She had just dreamt of it, she says. Quite odd.
tell me, Doctor. Of course, there are many things that your patients must be denied because they could hurt themselves or others. Does Miss Quint have access to a mirror?
She has avoided them ever since she has arrived. You notice the askew nature of the florals in her hair. That is of her doing without such reflective surfaces.
If it was just a bohemian affectation, but that does make sense.
She was an artist by trade before she came here. So,
Kind of artist, painter,
yes.
sculptor.
As far as I understand it from her wife, she had done many paintings. Landscapes, flowers, and such. But
Has she done any paintings since she has been here?
I we did try and give her something like a small palette for her to try and regain herself. I had not seen if she had done anything. You think she might have?
It seems something likely to be reflective of her state of mind, if nothing else.
Oh, we can check her quarters then. I shall show you. And then he leads you to what is her designated room, for sure. You are welcome to roll for information move. This would be a reason.
Yeah, it's like reason, doesn't it? Also, not my best. Are either of my conditions going to affect me on this?
I feel like the weight of the shadows, especially because you're investigating Kingdom Shadows, is going
Right.
to cause some issues. So yeah, that disadvantage.
I don't think I have anything that can help me with this. Let's just go for it. Oh, bugger. That's 4.
Okay.
I'm a really terrible painting.
Well, I don't know what movie it is, but I feel like it is the scene from this movie. Somebody's going down the hallway and then all of a sudden you see somebody following them behind and just immediately whips out a knife. And then, like, as they're going past into the next room, like, you see the knife go down, but you don't actually see it plunge in. And I think that's what we see happen. You see somebody that looks innocuous in scrubs or a lab coat or something like that, and then they immediately pull out a knife, and we see the glimpse of a mask, and you know we see the glint of a knife as they will stab down and try to get you from behind, Val, in your quest for um, looking at Hypatia's painting. So another one of the death cult who is definitely going to try to make your life miserable. Now,
It's
not saying that you're gonna die, but I mean, like, you're gonna have a problem on your hands.
it's that Dr. Walters.
I
What
don't
does he
know.
do?
Remember, Dr. Walters is leading you, so he doesn't see
Mm.
this.
Oh, I see. He's first into the room.
Yes. So basically, somebody sneaks up behind you, and then, like, we'll try to take a stab at you.
I'm tempted to turn another, not turn, I always want to say turn a mask. Um,
You don't have
I
to.
think I'm going to try to deal with this situation
So
because
then
for
that would be
what?
a yeah, that would be a night move in this case because it's more dangerous.
Mm,
Yeah, this is definitely bodily harm with the possibility of some occult bullshit happening for sure. Um, what do you think will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I will be stabbed in the back and fall down dead.
Yes.
Threat seems pretty clear.
Yeah, well, you will be not only will you be stabbed, but you will be taken off to the court of the occluded king and be used as a prop in the next production of the play.
Perfect. What am I rolling with here? And then am I dealing with?
I mean, to avoid the strike, vitality, or since like we're dealing with the death cult and the possibility of being added to the play, I mean, sensitivity. You tell me what sounds like what you will be doing to counteract this.
Yeah, I'm picturing Val getting some sense that someone is there, sensing the threat and turning to fight them off.
Right.
Um, I do have. I mean, as first, I'll ask her any either of my conditions affecting me on this, giving me disadvantage, because that might influence whether I use a personal quarters item.
You know what? I'm gonna say that, like, given the situation, I'm not gonna hold either one against you because weight of the shadows. It's just like you're just doubling down into
Yeah.
it. So I'm okay with that.
Okay. So just straight roll with vitality.
Parlay me your best stat. Like, what are you doing to make sure
I
that you?
I think just kind of martial training.
Yeah,
Val knows how to fight back against being surprised or someone with a bladed weapon.
perfect.
Well, I'm glad I have good vitality. That makes it a 9.
All right, you tell me how you neutralize this, and I'll tell you how your life is complicated, or give you a condition.
Yeah, I think as the blade descends, Val just either sees a shadow or hears something and reacts instinctively by ducking and turning and slamming their fist into the attacker's stomach, and the blade just kind of goes over their back as they duck.
It will not be without collateral damage. I think the knife will go into Dr. Walters. So, um, are you Hmm. Are you feeling bad about the collateral damage at all, or is it is it just like this is just necessary in the course of war kind of thing? How does Val feel about this?
I would probably let that ride, depending on how bad it is. I mean, a glancing knife blow that wasn't directed at him seems unlikely to kill him, but I don't know. Maybe the knife is poisoned or something. I, yeah, let's see how bad it is, and then I'll decide if I want to bump up the result.
Well, considering it's a 9, I'm gonna say it's a glancing blow. I mean, like, it just narrowly misses the doctor. Maybe it slices into his jacket, and he's got like a little bit of a flesh wound. It bleeds, it hurts, but he's fine. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, he's like, whoa, and he's like trying to get the fuck out of the way, and then, like, you take out the cultist. Um, do you use their knife against them?
Try and take it off them and use it to not to at least threaten them with harm if they keep trying to fight.
They will continue to fight you if this is what you're planning on doing, and then all the while they're going to say, "All hail the first and final king! All hail he who shall rule hereafter! Hark! Hark! Hark!" I mean, they look seriously mad. I mean, they. You can see their bared teeth underneath their mask. They're wearing dark clothing underneath the lab coat and scrubs or whatever, and they're clasping you with desperate fingers, trying to get the knife away from you to use it against you again. Um, so yeah, what do you do?
I want to try and subdue them so that I can question them or turn Daymond Grey loose upon them or something.
With the 9, I'll let you subdue them with a little bit of an injury to yourself. You tell me
Okay.
what you think you get for doing so.
I think it's some kind of we've got to be fighting over the knife. So I
Hmm.
think Val ends up with kind of the defensive wounds on their arm and hand from fending off the knife attack because they don't have a shield or
Right.
anything like that. So some kind of injury to the arm and the hand.
Uh, yeah, basically put down as your condition defensive cuts. Do you knock them out, or do you just kind of like get the doctor to get you some kind of restraining?
Yeah, I think maybe the doctor would even call for, they have to have orderlies that were used to getting physical with patients. So I can hold this person down and they must have equipment for restraining people.
They can whip on the straitjacket, but then this person is just gonna keep on continuing on yelling. The all hail to the king of the king in shadows, for sure.
And I think Val will look to the doctor and say, I think that goes so far as to prove that it's not just in Miss Quint's mind, whatever is going on.
Evidently
Are you,
not.
are you quite all right, doctor? Are you hurt?
Just a mere cut. You look like you need some medical attention. Do you want my nurses to tend to your wounds?
Perhaps just a dressing. I,
Certainly.
but I wish to speak to my associates as soon as possible about this matter. They will be most interested.
Absolutely. So, you have the remains of this, well, the icky orchid, like, hopefully secured in the broom closet. And you see in the paper that the Kew Gardens greenhouse is going to be having an exhibition of their uh, greenhouse, excuse me, their emerald orchid sample, or, you know, uh, that they have. Um, and you've heard that there's others that have, like, the news of others that have had this beautiful plant amongst them as well. But yeah, I mean, like, what else do you want to do regarding this?
I think I would like to go to the greenhouse.
Okay.
Along the way, I mean, there's always like flower sellers, like usually children selling flowers along the roads.
Hmm.
I might stop and ask any of these children if they have seen or heard of anyone else that has had these flowers, just trying to track them down. We know
Yeah,
where at
sure.
least one is. Well,
Right.
two, because one's in our broom closet.
Right. Maybe like on the way to Kew Gardens, like you see, like, just, people in general, like, in their yards or whatever. Um, and then there's some children about. Um, and then you see, like, there's a few children that are being directed by a woman that's in a wide brimmed sun hat with a pocketed apron. She's got a high collared blouse, um, with a jeweled beetle pattern on it. Um, she's got lightly calloused hands, like, you can tell that she's like done like a little bit, actually, like quite a bit of gardening. Um, and she's actually in the dirt right now, like, just kind of digging up things. She's not wearing stuff aside from the apron and the sun hat. She's not wearing things that would make you think it's like, oh, let's go ahead and, like, dig in the dirt right now. But she's directing the kids. It's just, all right, come on, come on. It's like you want to make sure that you have enough depth in with these plants to make sure that they have enough room to get some roots in there. Come on. Like, let's make some holes for these little flowers to make sure that they can, like, really dig deep. Come on.
Um, is Mr. Gray accompanying me to the
Absolutely.
thing? All right, in that case, Mr. Gray, you are more persuasive with women than I am. Perhaps you would like to chat with this woman who seems to know about gardening, and I'll see what I can get from the children.
Daymond will steel himself for the thought of Marybelle questioning children. A lovely idea. Do be cautious with your phrasing. They have smaller bodies and minds.
I will try to keep that in mind. Thank you for the forbearance.
And, and Daymond will attempt to distract and question this, what I can only assume is a school teacher.
She will greet you, Daymond, and invite you to help with the gardening. Laurel Bentley, how are you? Are you also interested in gardening? You should be interested in gardening.
I've recently taken it up as a hobby. A good
So am
friend,
I.
a good friend recently gave my household a few plants, and, well, let's just say that the green thumb has taken hold.
You might say I have a few green fingers myself. I plan to enter my flowers in the competition at the Royal Horticultural Society this year. Now, I tried to propagate one of those jewel orchids myself, and uh, I don't think flowers behave that way in most cases, but just have this desire to keep gardening. It's just one of those things where you just want to keep the plants alive, of course. And these children have been wonderful in helping me. I mean, they make
Yes.
such little wonderful dirt grubbers, don't they?
That they do, the little hands getting right there into the soil. Are these your pupils?
Oh no, they've just been wandering around and I've just conscripted them into helping me. Absolutely.
Oh, such ingenuity. But you mentioned that you've been trying to grow an emerald orchid.
Well, just trying to keep one myself. That they seem to be rather high maintenance. So just wanting to. It seems to enjoy being what's the word? Being shared. It doesn't seem to want to stay in one place for very long.
I've
A little
noticed
upsetting.
I've noticed that as well. What have you tried when growing the orchid? As I suspect we've attempted different things, and I'm curious as to what you've done.
Go ahead and make the information move, please, with reason? Yeah.
Yep. It's gonna be an 8.
Okay. She tells you about this wonderful guide that she got a hold of. She doesn't tell you from where. Let me see. Give me a second. It's this thing that I had been passed along. But because I couldn't keep the emerald orchid myself, I had to pass it along, of course, with the plant. It was called the Herald of the Emerald Seed. It seemed to be some kind of manifesto describing of course, the most ridiculous thing, an intelligent plant like glowing messiah, which will apparently guide humanity into a vibrant resurrection. Can you believe it? But somehow that's very fascinating and altogether tantalizing, isn't
Such
it?
such creative and floral language. What will they think of next to sell
Floral
books?
language! Aren't you
Yes.
funny? And she touches your chest and just kind of like gives that flirty pat. You sure you don't want to help me garden here with the children?
And I will turn to my companion and see that she's speaking with the children. I suppose we have a few minutes. We're making our way to the gardens where they've
The
got an
ex-
orchid on display.
the exhibition, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. It's supposedly one of the more brilliant of the specimens available to watch and see. Mm-hmm. And as Laurel is talking, Marybelle, what are you saying to these children as you're talking?
Children appreciate honesty, and so does Marybelle. So I think as soon as I'm pretty sure that Laurel Bentley's attention is grabbed by Mr. Gray, I turn to the children and say, "Hello, children. I am Marybelle.
Oi, how you doing? It's like that's Colin, and that's Anne, and I'm Mary.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Colin and Anne and Mary. Have you seen a very green flower?"
That's not anything that anyone hasn't seen. It's all brilliant and green, and it shines and it sparkles. Oh my god. She talks about it all the time.
May I assume from your behavior that you are somewhat annoyed and or exasperated by the existence of this flower?
I guess, I mean, it's pretty and everything, but I mean, why is it everybody making a big fuss over it? I don't understand.
They want us to keep touch it. They want us to go and touch it, but I'm like, I'm not interested. And why are we grubbing in the dirt anyway?
I imagine that your instructor is trying to teach you about gardening. However, you must trust your own instincts regarding touching this green flower. It is, in fact, not an appropriate flower to touch, despite what the adults say.
Did you smell it? Does it smell like anything?
I'm unable to smell.
You got a nose on you. Why can't you smell?
And I think I just take my nose off. It does not work.
Cool, what are you?
I put my nose back on. I'm special. You should not try that. Your nose is attached to your face in a different way.
Colin, take your nose off.
Colin, I do not recommend you take your nose off. However, I am interested in what you know about this flower. You see, this flower is causing problems. Problems with people that touch it, which is why you should not, no matter what the adults say.
Oh, we know. She touched it.
Is she strange now?
Yes. You
Yes,
see what she's wearing? You wouldn't be grubbing in the dirt if you were wearing something like that, would you?
Perhaps I would not. However, if you believe that her behavior has changed significantly between touching the flower and not touching the flower and touching the flower, I do believe you. I've seen similar myself. Do you know where she got the flower?
Information move, please. With reason.
Great. I have 0 reason today. I am not reasonable. That's okay. It's a 9.
Right. So.
And it's like, I think it's Anne that's talking.
So. Miss Bentley, she had gone over to that one strange place called the Lavender Terrace.
She's saying it really carefully.
And she would meet with the person that's over the Lavender Terrace, and she would get some drink, like tea and food, but she would talk about how the tea was made of something really weird, and it wasn't tea no more.
And she would describe basically what it looked like. When Miss Bentley was in her right mind. Hold on. Miss Bentley would describe the food and the drink at this place, at the Lavender Terrace. Sorry, it's coming out like all weird, but that's what the PDF's giving it. So, but yeah. So, innocuously replaced with gardening materials. Bitter tea of composting plant matter, mossy soup, a salad bowl full of dried leaves and twigs. And that's what Anne describes to you as where Miss Bentley had gotten her one orchid before it got passed along.
Thank you very much, Anne. I appreciate your information.
Oh, right. Right so. You think she's okay?
I am not certain. I have not seen this effect on a human. A normal human, I mean. However, I do implore you to destroy this flower at your earliest convenience. Do not touch it, though. Just destroy it. You may get in trouble. The adults likely will not understand. However, it is for their safety and your own.
They all nod solemnly at you.
We will.
If you have any trouble, please visit Hargrave House.
Where's
and I
that?
give him the address.
Okay.
It's wherever in Belgrave Square.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues will assist you.
Did you run into it?
Yes. It is a bad flower.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Thank
Do
you,
stay
miss.
away from it, except to destroy it.
Yes, Mum.
Goodbye. And I turn back to Mr. Gray.
Who's like, under the flirting ministrations of Laurel Bentley at the moment. Like she's got her hand on his chest and she's giving him looks like you probably are like, what the hell is this? Um, yeah. And,
I've gone around with Camuel before. I'm pretty sure I've seen similar.
people throwing themselves at Camuel. This is probably like way tame comparably. But yeah, we can close out a day phase at the moment because like I'd like to ask whether like question wants to be answered for King in Shadows before we hit night phase for next time. Any ideas for this? What signs precede a performance of the play for King in Shadows, and where will it appear next for Complexity 2?
I still think it's in Parliament.
And I was going to suggest with the mirror reflecting that it takes place inside of everyone's front hall mirror. But
Oh, I like that though. That's why so many people are able to see it. And that's why it was showing in Parliament, because they also have a front hall mirror.
And it's almost like a repeating phrase: the life imitates art, imitates life, imitates art, which is like kind of like a continuing reflection, perhaps.
And
that's how we know it's the mirrors, because what else does Parliament have that every home that people have seen this in also have? They all have mirrors in their front hall.
I was thinking maybe we can, she was dreaming of mirrors reflecting only darkness because there wasn't a play upcoming. But if you look at it, if you look into the mirror at the right time, then you'll see where the play's going to be.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a reflection of the room where you are.
You get the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
So the play itself is at Parliament, but it can be seen in any front hall mirror.
I like that. That's terrifying.
That's how you spread it around.
Because it makes you wonder, is Parliament in on this? Is the government in on this? I wonder what the relationship between the Queen and the government is at this point. I'm pretty sure Victoria had a good relationship with the government.
Yeah, but
if
still,
I recall. But it's always still strained.
Yeah, no actual power, right?
Yeah.
She has. So.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Just head like figurehead power, kind of like here in Canada. The king doesn't have any real power. He's on our money, and then that's about it. Interesting.
Okay, so basically we're saying that the trailer will appear in everybody's front hall mirror, and then the actual performance happens at Parliament. Is that what we're saying?
I think it happens at Parliament, but it projects to all the mirrors.
Right, you can see it from.
You don't have to go to Parliament to watch the show.
Oh wow.
We will have to go to Parliament though.
Right,
stop
to
the
stop
show.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So are we doing the 3 clues? So you're rolling. Somebody's rolling with a +1.
I think that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's rolling?
I like because the mirror idea was all you, Jeremy. I think you should do it.
Do it.
Unless you want me to roll 1, but I think you should.
Yeah, I can roll. That is an 8.
Okay. You are correct. So, discover the location of the new venue. Hunters may watch a performance during any following night phase while this thread is active. Afterwards, unlock the next question, which is, give me a second. Okay. So once you get a chance to watch the play, I'm going to go ahead and just pop this in here so we know what we're answering.
So we could watch it from Hargrave House if we wanted.
Right? God!
We just can't do anything about it there.
No, you can't. All right, so basically you have to answer the next question, which is what roles are you intended to perform in the play? That is the question you must answer. To resolve the threat, you have to play out this role during the play's next performance, ending in the tragic fall of the occluded king, or by breaking out of this role and ruining the production itself, thereby returning order to London. So you have either or to resolve the threat. Okay, so either be the role or break out of it. Okay, and that is a complexity 6. And then Emerald Orchid has 3 different ways that you can try to resolve the threat. It all depends on, like, you know, how much complexity you want to add to the answer. Yeah. Okay. So now you're left with 2 clues for the King in Shadows to gather more to try and get to at least half the complexity for King in Shadows. Okay. And yeah, when we come back, we're gonna go ahead and do night phase, or excuse me, dusk phase, and then we're gonna go into night phase where you can watch, somebody can watch the play and other people can go and check out the exhibition if you want. Okay, so we close out today and do stars and wishes. So stars are things you liked about the session, and wishes are what you want to see for the future or next time. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's just like I'm just looking at all the failures. What the hell? So,
I'll go first because it's Thanksgiving weekend and my brain's kind of like wobbly all over the place. I'm just kind of tired.
yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving, Canadians.
Happy Thanksgiving, Canadians.
One huge star. This is for both Rob and Jeremy with the discussion, the vulnerable move at the very beginning of the session. We're amongst friends and confidants. Like that sounded so threatening. And then Rob, I don't remember what you said in reply. I don't remember what Val said in reply, but it was also extremely threatening. And I'm like, this is awesome. The drama, the kicking up, the ratcheting up of the drama between these two characters, where there's no real antagonism or anything yet, but you know there's gonna be. It's like it's working itself up where they're just sort of fundamentally different people that butt heads. So I'm that's a wish of mine. I'm looking forward to more Val and Daymond going out and doing stuff together so we can see more of that conflict. Because that's pretty awesome. There were so many failed rolls, which is always hilariously fun, which means we're going to get hopefully a bunch of masks and whatnot. But great results, great consequences on that, Mads, because it's a lot when there's a lot of people failing rolls. You got to keep coming up with things and reasons and consequences, and it can take a bit of a toll. But you rolled with all of them; they're all really good. So I big kudos there. Um, Star to Alex Rabitsky, who wrote The King in Shadows, because this is such a bonkers way to resolve a mystery. Like, what's going on with your brain, buddy? And I say that with love because we're friends, but your brain's weird, and I appreciate that. So stars to Alex for that. Yeah, I'm excited for more prompts. I've seen a lot of the I know the mask prompts for the Undeniable and the Vessel because I've played both of those characters, and I've looked through the prompts for oh my gosh, what is your playbook name? The Errant.
The Errant.
Yeah, and I'm just excited for more masks. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm excited to do more for the Facsimile because there's a lot of cool masks in there. I'm having a lot of fun with this new kind of side of Marybelle, kind of really trying to dig in their heels on maintaining their own willpower and such. So yeah, just wishes all around. Is basically I can't wait for the next session. I'm excited for Mark to come back too. So we're looking forward to that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
hopefully you're doing okay, Mark.
Yeah.
Get well soon.
Hopefully, we'll get to see Val's Mask of the Future and then Kemuel's Mask of the Past in the beginning of next session. So that's what we can look forward to for next time. I definitely want to star the I didn't get the full quote because it's like I was busy scribbling it down, but the whole, burn at the stake and then the clap back between you two, between Daymond and Val. Oh my God, star. That was just so fun. These two. Yeah, I always look forward to Daymond and Val getting together and just having a very interesting conversation. So, um, and then I don't remember whether we've actually seen um, Val and Kemuel have any kind of deep conversation or
I
anything
think we
like
did
that.
once.
Yeah, I just want to see more of that because I mean, Kemuel's got conditions, so I mean, want to see, those things come out. Unfortunately, we won't see it next session because we're going into night phase. But again, wanting to see more scenes with Kemuel with the other characters, and kind of get more of a handle on how they deal with things and how they deal with other people. Um, Still not sure whether they consider anybody else worthy, I mean, being in their presence or kind of eh, not equivalent, but I mean, it just tolerating them working with them, that kind of thing. It's just an interesting dynamic, and I just want to see more of it. And then Marybelle, I mean, just the curiosity, just the all of the questions, all of the different takes on it's just philosophical, all the philosophical waxings of well, what does this mean? And then I should go by my own judgment, yes. And then oh my God, it's dealing with a child, but yet also this could get dangerous. This could be the line that gets crossed because it's if you allow Marybelle to go too far, it's I don't know. It's how do you explain drawing back and having a little bit of restraint? I don't know if you can. So we'll see. So I'm looking forward to more of the Facsimile masks as well. That'll definitely be a lot of fun. Um, just looking to see. Yeah, I mean, all the failures are just hilariously fun, and I enjoy them. I laugh every time because I'm always like, guys, warm up your dice, make love to your dice roller. I don't care, just do whatever you need to do. But it's okay if you're willing to roll with the failures. So am I. It's okay. It's all good, and that makes it exciting as well. So I'm good. Looking forward to more.
Yeah, I was gonna say that a couple of stars for me were both me and Daymond leaning into our failures on rolls and just rolling with it. That was fun. I really enjoyed the vulnerable scenes. I thought there was a lot of fun in the kind of change from Damon's counseling of Marybelle to Val's over the same subject. And yeah, I don't know which one was worse in terms of the influence on Marybelle. You'd think on paper it would be Daymond, but I think actually he may not have been. Yeah, the new threat is fun. I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I know Val's digging into the play, but I think we're making good progress on that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into the plant. The Triffids type thing as well. So yeah, great work. I enjoyed the character of the kid that Marybelle was interacting with, and yeah, just good time all around. Looking forward to my mask next time. I think I have it worked out. So yeah, and looking forward to having Mark back for more fun with. I really want to see what on earth Kemuel is going to make of this orchid situation.
Dittos for so many of those stars. Just to call out Mads, it was beautiful seeing you kind of turn this almost into a mini night phase with just all of the complications coming in. It was great. The way that you rolled with basically everyone failing their initial roll was fantastic, and it gave so much more danger to this flower than I think any of us were initially expecting. Like, I came out here thinking, oh, we're going to be doing some good Little Shop of Horrors-esque things. Or, Rob, I think you called out an Invasion of the Body Snatchers type thing earlier that I'd have to scroll to find. And it really made this threat come alive. Rob, your handling of not quite an insane woman was beautiful. The way that it felt like you were actually consoling her, the way that I'd expect a medical professional to just kind of talk her out of the nothingness that she found herself in. And it was nice. It was nice seeing a compassionate side of Val without any of the Hargrave House shenanigans thrown in. It was just Val. And I don't know where it came from, Amanda, but a star for the call between your doll parts and a connection that only you could see between the orchid and Daymond was just one of those. It fits so beautifully, and it was one of those things where, like, okay, we have to run with this. And it was great. As far as wishes, more dice rolls, more failures, more masks, more successes, more everything.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be hilarious. It's like, I have a punchier day phase than I do a night phase. Fantastic. But we'll go into dusk phase, like go through the dusk phase bits for next time. Again, hopefully see the masks that are owed in the beginning of next session, and then we'll go into a night phase and then see what you guys end up doing, like who goes where. Um, and see how Kemuel deals with the flower or the King in Shadows threat. So we'll see how this goes. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see how you guys deal with this, and then if there's time, if I can make it really punchy, then it's like maybe I'll introduce yet another threat, like going into a day phase. We'll see how this goes. All right, so you guys have a wonderful week. Happy gaming for anything that you're doing for this upcoming week, and I will see you next time. Alrighty. And again, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Woo! All right. See ya. Bye.